Now, what about the fathers? Well, the father should want these kind of things for himself. And so obviously for him to only associate himself with women who are of this caliber would make a huge difference in the whole mating game. So we don't care about how long her hair is or, how deep her dimples are or, how her waistline is, et cetera. Of course, you should always be in the best shape that you can be in, but men have to have a greater selection template for mating. They have to gain control of their sexual urges and not allow an erection to lead them into something that they have to pay for the rest of their life. And they do this all the time. And then you want to basically talk about the mother and say she's a terrible person or whatever. Well, it goes into a whole bunch of stuff. I've done whole lectures on that. I will say this to the men. For every woman that you have intentionally been sexually active with and you never had the intent of ever having a full, developed relationship with, know that you have just transmitted that karma onto your daughter. So I want you to think about that. Every time you see a woman and you size her up because of her figure and whatever else, et cetera, and you want to be sexually active with her, think about your daughter and who's going to do that to her. Because men don't get it, that you think that you can run around with all these different women, but then you want to keep your daughter sacred. It won't happen. Because if you don't respect someone else's daughter, how in the world do you think someone is going to respect yours?
Indeed.
See, this is the law of reciprocation. Yeah, this is the law of reciprocation. And so, therefore,
be putting him on him.
Okay. But this is the law of reciprocation. And therefore, if you don't want your daughter to be ramshacked and pummeled through by a whole bunch of men, you must keep your sanctity and you must keep your fidelity based on higher things. And then those are the kind of men that your daughter will have. But, if you're around here just, having sex with anything, then your daughter is going to basically be a sperm receptacle for anything. And there's no need of you being upset about it because you, as the father, set the tone. See, nobody's telling people this. Nobody's telling these men this. So they think they can go to these places and all these, strip joints and masturbate and do all kind of things, and then they want to be upset when their daughters are plumaged through. You did this. You set the tone for this by misusing other people's daughters. See, all of this would stop if the adults would immediately take control of their own behavior and live by the order of the universe. It's very clear, mirror principle. What you send out is what you get, cause and effect. Real simple.
Wow. That's so awesome how you put that. Really, really is. It's just really awesome. We're down to 34 minutes. We have callers on the line. Press 1 if you want to talk. Otherwise, I would just feel that you're just listening. Call-in number 347-850-8713.
Well, let me say this too, and I want to address this. Now, someone in their limited perception had the audacity to want to blame the woman. Okay, and I'm telling you, male and female is just only a small part of who you are. If you look at your body, that is less than 10% of your physical anatomy, your genitals. So we are still behind the times to constantly refer to ourselves as just male or female. We are far greater than that. I'm telling you, we are living gods, however you are where you are. So now, all of a sudden, here we have males who have penises that talk about they should be the leaders and they should do this, that, and the other, but then now all of a sudden everything is blamed on the woman when it comes to the quality of child and infidelity issues, et cetera, as though you have no control over yourself as a male just because you have a penis. See, these are the games that we have to stop. Either you're a god or you're not, and your genital signature has nothing to do with this. It is your state of consciousness and the development of your brain. And I'm telling you, whether you're a male, whether you have male or female genitals, when you have a focused, centered mind, and when your heart and your thoughts are of the purest, I don't care how beautiful she is, I don't care how handsome he is, you are not interested if it is not in alignment with your destiny and your focus. And we need to stop always trying to blame somebody else for our infidelity and what we think are our weaknesses. You are weak because you have not learned how to fulfill yourself from within by developing your brain and holding a focus. And that goes for whether you have male or female genitals or not.
Right. Well, a lot of people, I've researched that Tantra was created for men to sort of, remove the ego.
And for women. And for women, as I said. Because
and for women.
A woman going through menopause is showing her ignorance. A woman having a menstrual period is showing her ignorance, because if she has not learned how to breathe properly so that she does not make unwanted fertile eggs, that's ignorance. She is throwing her life force away on a sanitary pad or a tampon when all she had to do was learn how to breathe properly. So therefore, she didn't have to have children that she didn't want, because she didn't have to ovulate. See, so it goes back to everything. He doesn't have to have children he doesn't want. If he breathes properly, he does not make semen. He does not make spermatozoa every day if he breathes properly. So having orgasm and being able to reproduce is two totally separate functions via the genitals. But where have you been taught the whole anatomy of the genitalia? Nowhere, nobody. That's why I'm saying there's no such thing as an educational system. You're going to indoctrination centers. Here you have a body. Nobody teaches you how to wash your face. You don't know how to wash your hands. You don't have foot care instructions. You don't have teeth care. None of this. Who's teaching you? The corporations who want you to buy their products. So they'll give you bits and pieces of little information so you can make a better selection of whose product is better than somebody else's. But other than that, your institutions don't even teach you this. A child should not even be forced to learn anything about history or anything else until after 8th grade, because the first 8 years of his or her life should be devoted to nothing but anatomy, physiology of their own body. They can learn how to read, write, count, and everything, learning their own anatomy and physiology. And watch if we don't have masters. So when they then go to history and they're showing them the history of these people, Churchill, Napoleon, all these people, they'll be able to say, well, my God, the man had heart disease. He had coronary artery disease. He had no business sitting here being able to make these kind of jurisdictions and decisions about countries. They'll be able to see the pathology in the decision-making because the person was ill and shouldn't have even been in that position of leadership. See, when you teach a person who they are and how they normally should function, you'll be able to see how decisions are made because the body is out of balance. So we don't have to wait for an institution to teach us this. Thank goodness we can go buy a book. It's on the Internet. We can do this now.